It's fair to say we've got a pretty packed 2 hours coming up. Soon I'm going to be handed over to Jeremy Silver, CEO of Digital Catapult, to do the welcome. Then it's going to be passed back to me. I'm going to give a really brief overview of the program, just a little bit of context as into how we got here. Then we're going to go straight into our first panel discussion. And that will see Jürgen Meyer, CBE, talk to representatives from some of our industry challenge owners about how boosting the UK industrial technology capability. Then we go straight into the first batch of prototyping pitches. We've got 8 companies up first. We will have a short break at 4:10 if we're running on good time, but we will be back sharp at 4:20 for our next panel discussion, which will see Priya Guha, MBE, talking to another group of our industry challenge owners and technology sponsors about building the case for investing in industrial digital technologies. Then we'll go into the second prototype pitching session. There's 6 companies that time, and then we'll have closing remarks from Chris Courtney, who is Challenge Director, Made Smarter Innovation for UK R&I, and then we will hopefully finish promptly at 5:15. Okay, so now, without further ado, I would like to welcome Jeremy Silver to please unmute.
Thanks very much, Justin, and good afternoon, everyone, and very warm welcome to this Made Smarter Technology Accelerator event. It's great to see so many participants joining us. We've got an absolutely fantastic lineup, and Justin's going to tell you all about it later on. But I thought, just to begin with, it might be helpful for you to know a little bit about Digital Catapult, who are leading this program. And some of you may be familiar with us, others may be familiar with other parts of the Catapult network. As you probably know, there are 9 catapults altogether. And the one that you're probably most familiar with is the High Value Manufacturing Catapult, which is obviously a large organization with 7 different components, many of whom you may have had some interaction with. We work very closely with them, and all the catapults are focused on acting as an acceleration layer. A means of taking the brilliant ideas that exist both in academia but also in the innovation ecosystem and helping commercialize those and speed up the ability of those ideas, those products, those services to find their way into the market. And at Digital Catapult, we're very focused on that. Our mission really is to accelerate the adoption of advanced digital technologies. Our belief is that kind of early adoption leads to real competitive advantage, which in turn will bring growth and job creation to the businesses involved. And we think that that's as true for large corporates and multinational businesses as it is for early stage and innovative companies and SMEs. And so we're very active in doing that. We work in 3 broad application areas. On the one hand, at the base of all of this, the advanced digital infrastructure, 5G, the Internet of Things, wide area networks that enable all of the data to move in real time with the kind of richness and speed that's necessary to power all the kinds of applications and services that we're talking about in this new environment. The second pillar of our activity is very much based around the supply chain and digital supply chains and what opportunities that opens up to both increase efficiency, to create greater transparency in supply chains, and increasingly how digital supply chains can help reduce carbon emissions as well. And then our third area of application that we are really active in is what you might call the virtualization of production. The use of digital twins, of virtual reality, augmented reality, and other kinds of associated technologies which allow people to model and emulate the kinds of designs and kinds of applications that they want to create in the real world, and doing that digitally first, and allowing you to make changes to your designs much less expensively than having to iterate prototypes over and over. So between those 3 areas, we are very active in both developing facilities that will enable people to try out their ideas, like a 5G test bed or a future networks lab, as well as running collaborative programs like this one today, which bring people together who might otherwise not have a chance to collaborate. And I think the message today is all about that, all about bringing people together and giving you that opportunity to collaborate. We work primarily in the manufacturing space, but alongside that, we also work quite a bit in the creative industries. And the interesting thing about that is the degree to which, as digital technologies are on the up, and as people are using more and more common technologies in different sectors to solve different kinds of problems, the more that we've got an opportunity to share learnings across sectors and between sectors in a way that people are finding increasingly valuable. We work on average with about 400 or 500 companies a year. We're super excited to see the innovative companies that are pitching today. I think the kinds of ways in which I hope we've been able to help you in this program so far, but in the kinds of ways that you're going to work, I hope, with some larger companies in due course, is absolutely the way forward for the UK right now. And it's brilliant to see so many companies coming from all sorts of different parts of the country all coming together this afternoon. So it's great to see you all. Thanks so much for joining. I hope you get a huge amount out of your sessions today. Good luck to all of the companies pitching, but whether you're successful in this piece or whether your success comes in other ways, I hope you get something of real value out of today. And I'm looking forward very much to seeing how it all goes. Thanks a lot. And back to you, Justin.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. If you could now mute your camera, that'd be fantastic. Okay, I will now back to me to give a really brief overview of how we got to where we are today. So my name is Justin Cross. And I'm a Senior Innovation Partner here at Digital Catapult and also the Programme Lead for the Made Smarter Technology Accelerator. So the UK startup community really does lead Europe in developing advanced digital technologies, but to benefit from these innovations, developments have got to be adopted by industry partners and customers in the UK and also around the world. But on a global level, the UK is somewhat behind when it comes to embracing these innovations, with countries like Germany really emerging as frontrunners. So when we came to designing the Made Smarter Technology Accelerator, we really wanted to address these kinds of issues and go some way to help make the UK a global leader in business by 2030. And we felt that that word collaboration that Jeremy just mentioned, bringing together early adopters as well as UK innovators to help transform industries, that we could unlock the benefits and drive competitive advantage by developing cutting-edge prototypes that you're going to see this afternoon. Breaking it down into numbers, what we actually launched was a 12-month accelerator program alongside 7 industry challenge owners and 2 technology sponsors. And we welcomed 14 of the best-in-class UK startups to address 14 challenges which were aligned with the 5 Made Smarter themes. The first part of the program saw a very rapid 12-month prototyping development stage where each team received funding and also support from Digital Catapult. And we're right at the pinch point now. This is at the very end of that prototyping stage. And this is the midway marker, the prototype and showcase event. After this, 4 companies will be selected to go on for further funding and also support and enter into the MVP development stage. And then when we draw to a close at the end of the year, we will have another showcase to highlight all the successes. When we were working on scoping out each challenge, we were very mindful of how impactful they should be. And before we actually began the program in January, the Digital Catapult team did a lot of work with the industry challenge owners that you see here on this slide. We ran a number of framing workshops, deep dives, really trying to get to the essence of what the real world challenge was that they were facing at that present time. And we're also very delighted to welcome our 2 technology sponsors, Software RG and Verizon, who came on board to complement and help with the development of those prototypes. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to quickly thank all the industry challenge owners and the technology sponsors for the huge amount of effort that they've put in over the last 6 months. The engagement and the energy that they've put into the program really has proved and given dividends, as you will see with the prototypes this afternoon. That is really a testament to that kind of, I guess, engagement. But when we were working on each challenge, we were very mindful of how they aligned with the 5 Made Smarter themes that you see on this slide. And we wanted to make sure that they were impactful as possible and that they were real, that they were challenges that were being faced today by industry. So we were looking for challenges such around building trusted and resilient supply chains, or lowering waste without compromising on quality, or improving productivity whilst building a more sustainable business landscape. Now, Jeremy's already touched on this, so I'll be very brief, but of course, Catapult has expertise in a number of advanced digital technology layers and areas. And it was integral to the design of the program that our heads of technology and technology teams were able to impart knowledge and advice to the 14 companies that joined the cohort. So we were looking for best-in-class solutions in one or more of these technologies. So future networks encompassing 5G, IoT, and edge technology, which can help with high-quality data accessibility or enable asset tracking and data integrity. We were looking for immersive technologies, so VR, AR, XR, and haptics that can help transform how we experience data, enable zero burden service adoption, but also better training capability. AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, which underpin natural language processing, machine vision and deep learning for real-time process optimization or insight analysis and prediction capability. And then finally, distributed systems such as blockchain, which can unlock new value streams and business models with the ability to share data at scale. So just to finish off from me, here's the program timeline that we worked to. As I've mentioned earlier, we started in January with an open call, which was supported by a very carefully curated scouting exercise, and also a lot in partnership with our community partners. We closed the open call on the 21st of February and went into a very robust judging and selection two-phase approach, and which enabled us to launch the program on the 29th of March and welcome the 14 startups that you're going to hear from this afternoon as the first cohort for the Made Smarter Technology Accelerator. I mentioned that we're midway through that through the whole program with the event today, after which, again, we select the 4 companies that will go on for the MVP development, and then we will culminate everything with a showcase in December. Okay, I think that's probably more than enough from me. So now we will move on to the first panel discussion for the afternoon. And I'd like to invite Jürgen Meyer, CBE, who is also Chair of Digital Catapult and Co-Chair of Made Smarter, to please unmute and share your video for the first panel around boosting UK industrial technology capability. Jürgen, if you'd like to join me on screen.
Great, Justin. Thank you very much for that introduction, and to you, Jeremy. I mean, totally excited about this program as chair of the Digital Catapult and co-chair of Made Smarter, and this is really a brilliant program, as you said, Justin, of bringing the technology challenge owners together with the startups to resolve some really great problems. So let's get straight into it and invite our panel along. So in turn, if I can ask each of you to join me here and switch your video as I introduce you. And I'm going to start with the challenge owners, which is first of all Austin Cook from BAE Systems, of course, well known to all of us. Austin responsible for a sizable R&D team there at BAE Systems, and Austin has developed and implemented new manufacturing capabilities, including advanced machining technologies and manufacturing automation for much of your career, at least 15 years of it, and a real expert in this area. Also works closely with the high value manufacturing catapults, AMRC, MTC, and of course us at the Digital Catapult. Welcome, Austin.
Afternoon, thank you.
Great. We're also joined by Germaine Forgeot, who is from the company Safran, and Safran are a landing systems company, so in the aerospace sector, and Germaine is the research and technology manufacturing program manager there, and responsible for the research agenda across the whole of advanced manufacturing and additive manufacturing, a very important area across the whole of the landing systems entity. And I can't even begin to think of the many of the challenges that and opportunities that you've got in developing those systems. Germaine, welcome.
Thank you, Jürgen. Hello, everyone.
Great. And then we have Martin Jackson joining us from the Northumbrian Water Group. And Martin is head of strategy and product management at Northumbrian Water Group, NWG, we'll call you from now on. And you're responsible for the whole of the digital strategy and how those digital technologies enhance your products and services across all activities of NWG. Martin, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And then finally, one of the two technology sponsors for the program, which is the company Software AG, or AG, but AG, which is an IoT platform software company. And we're joined today by Charles Joel, who is globally for the company responsible for the success of the IoT program. So your great job title, Charles, Success Director. And Charles has 30 years operational experience in engineering and IoT program management. Charles, welcome to you.
Super. Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody.
Brilliant. So, well, what a great panel, and let me launch in straight away with just one question that we'll explore a little bit between us before we'll have a chance to hopefully take 2 or 3 questions from the audience. So just a quick reminder, audience, the Q&A button is open, and I'll try and get to any of your questions. Please do ask away. The question that I want to explore is that, as Justin already introduced, you know, whilst the UK is really incredibly successful at digital startups, and we have a great culture for it, and attracting some of the biggest amount of venture capital funding into the UK tech startup scene. It's amazing how little of that really flows into what we all on this call know as industrial digital technology, the deeper technologies of machine learning, artificial intelligence, all the things. As a matter of fact, you know, quite an unbelievable statistic is that only 1% of all of the venture capital money that flows into tech in the UK is in the space that we're exploring today. That, of course, also makes this program incredibly important, because we're trying to help identify and help, hopefully, help create some of the future tech startups in this space. But maybe starting with you, Charles, you look across the whole world with your company. You're sponsoring this program in the UK, and I just wondered, you know, what your thoughts are as to why is this, why we have a little less appetite here for these advanced digital technologies, and what else, you know, other than great programs like this, of course, do we need to do?
Wow, that's a great question, and maybe if I just approach it in a couple of ways. I mean, one is a lot of marketplaces around the world are very new, very green. You know, there's a lot more investment into greenfield technology, but the UK is a lot more specific on brownfield enablement. So we find that there's a need to be more actually capable of working with a lot more holder-based technologies in enabling that technology to become smarter and cleverer. And what we're finding as well is that the market needs encouragement. Yeah, the market needs, instead of constantly building things, how do you get things moving faster and better? And I don't know, sometimes we find there's other markets which are ready to embrace availability, you know, common tools, common capabilities. And so for us in Software AG, we're about enabling horizontal. Yeah, we want to help companies move forward faster. And instead of actually trying to do quick vertical solutions, you know what, think about this enablement criteria, think about what you can reuse and develop on top of it, those applications. Yeah. So we see it all over the world. We see it, you know, but the UK's got so much capability, Jürgen, yeah, in that space, in that brownfield enablement.
Well, thanks for the positive encouragement. And so you're seeing plenty of engagement also of SME companies in
We
the
are.
platform.
We are. And it's interesting because, the industrial sector is made up of SMEs. Without those SMEs, a lot of the industrial sector will not be there tomorrow. So it's about how do we encourage those SMEs? And of course, smaller means smaller investment, smaller numbers, smaller capability. They've got to be encouraged to do more faster with less risk. And most of these could be family businesses, so they need that help, they need that support. But equally, it's also an ask to our larger organizations, our larger businesses, communities, recognize that SME as capability, they've been shoring you up for decades. So use their knowledge, use their skills to enable you to go into the next era.
Absolutely agreed. Yeah, thank you very much, Charles, and Jermaine. So you're one of the challenge owners, and you've set your challenges. And I know we're going to see some presentations from some of the companies that have engaged with you later on. But I just be interested in your view on that question, and also, and are you seeing some really exciting fruits of new technology companies that you are able to engage with here in the UK on helping resolve some of the challenges that you have in your operation?
Yeah, it's true. It's quite a staggering number you highlighted earlier, Jürgen. For sure, Safran, we are a large international aerospace company, so around the world. But the proximity is key, and it brings benefits to us. So being part of such a program, Technology Accelerator, which promotes UK-based company, it's a key aspect for us to engage in that. And I know we've got two challenges which are covering some of our aspects in terms of manufacturing and assembly. And I'm not going to steal the thunder of the people presenting, but definitely, yes, UK tech company is crucial for our ecosystem to remain competitive and being at the forefront of innovation. So it's critical for us to, as a big OEM, work with small company and develop them and bring a success working together. That's key.
Great. And again, and have you seen in the last, let's say, couple of years, for example, have you seen a greater level of engagement of sort of small tech startup scale-up companies with your company?
Yeah, for sure. It's something we are trying to engage much more on that, and we are supporting small companies. Yeah, so it's a key aspect.
Fantastic, great, yeah, good. And an audience, I know there's quite a few of you out there. Don't be shy. We'll have time for one or two questions, so do send some in. But we'll put the same question to Martin at Northumbrian Water. Now you're in a very different sector to aerospace, but from my experience at Siemens. Lots of opportunities for technology to improve operations in water companies and utility companies. So again, what's your thoughts and what's it like engaging with smaller and sort of the tech ecosystem here?
Firstly, I think it's incredibly important that we're having this discussion, because I think the key to innovation is diversity of thought, isn't it? And we've got large kind of established partners and suppliers, particularly in the digital space, where as my heartland as a leader within our business, that we've worked with for a number of years. But what we're seeing in industry now is that in order to move forward in terms of making that step change in performance for the benefit of our customers, we need to innovate in entirely new ways and look at new possibilities. And for us, that's about creating an ecosystem of diversity, where there are big players in there, but also there are smaller players, and that we're able to hone in on the talent, whether that's locally, whether that's nationally around the UK. So I think it's incredibly important that as leaders within business, we positively act to stimulate that ecosystem. So at Northumbrian Water Group, that's something that we took a conscious decision 2 or 3 years back, that we wanted to be more disruptive in our innovation. And actually, as a business, we wanted to be a catalyst for creating that environment. And some people on the call may be familiar with our innovation festival that we run annually, where we run a number of design think sprint challenges over the course of a week around specific business problems. And I think the starting point for that is being very honest about the challenges you face, as a business, and where innovation can help solve some of those challenges, whether that's in the digital sense, whether that's in engineering, in other places, creating a bit of a platform and a format for how you can bring the right ingredients together in order to support that process. And to give you a scale on that, I think the last time that we ran the physical festival 2 years back, we did it virtually last year. We had something around 3,500 attendees at that festival from over 400 different organizations. So you can see that that's quite a broad spectrum of organizations coming together. And then I think from our perspective, the thing that we've really learned is around how do you get to that point where you've created something in that environment, you've created the ecosystem, you've brought the right ingredients together to stimulate a new product, a new service. But then how do you remove the friction that allows you to take that forward to success? Because there's no shortage of ideas. I'm sure every business would recognize you could probably list hundreds of opportunities and problems that could be solved through innovation. But often it's about how do you get from that idea, how do you get from that problem, and how do you begin to realize value? And it's a well-trodden path working with some of the bigger players. I think the ecosystem and some of the constructs and some of the things that need to support collaboration with SMEs is still maturing in a lot of organizations. So we've had to think very carefully about how we can do that and how we can create a safe space for both parties where we can, yes, invest in some level of risk with some of these ideas in a more controlled way, but that allows us to stimulate that within our ecosystem of SMEs. So I think there's a few thoughts there, but I think in Northumbrian Water Group, it's been something that we sat down and we really thought about 2 or 3 years ago. How are we going to stimulate this within the wider ecosystem?
That's absolutely fantastic, and congratulations for running a festival of that scale. That's really brilliant. And I can really, as you were speaking, I could really imagine how that helps drive engagement, of course, but ultimately better innovation for the services that you're looking to provide. So brilliant initiative. And of course, this program is hopefully, designed to do the same, to get more people coming together and connected with this, the challenge. So moving on to you, Ossie, and by the way, our audience, and I know there's over 200 of you out there. You've been very shy today, and I would like just a couple of, maybe we don't have much time anyway, but 1 or 2 questions or thoughts as to how we can stimulate this this ecosystem, especially the tech startups, the scale-ups working with our manufacturers. But what's your thoughts, Austin? I mean, I've worked a lot with BAE Systems, and you're always championing innovation and bringing small companies in. So I'd welcome your thoughts, how all that engagement is going.
Well, yeah, absolutely. BAE Systems is completely reliant on SMEs in the UK, and more so in the last few years on some of the great technologies that are coming out of the startup community. Is the reason why we support these initiatives. And in the past, what we've been trying to do when we are looking to innovate is obviously we engage with the Catapult network in the UK and universities, and we try to encourage SMEs and startups to get involved in those same communities as well, and to try and foster that collaboration so that they can hear what we're saying and we can hear their issues and barriers, and we can help try to solve them together. And there's a number of initiatives that we've done over the years that do that. But going forward, we've got, I think, 6,000 suppliers in the UK today. The challenges that we have in the future are significant in terms of affordability and being able to compress lead times for our products. And going forward, we're obviously working with our SMEs, but we are looking for those new novel ideas and those really innovative companies that are coming from the startup community. So this is a really, really interesting and absolutely critical area for us. And we've got a real spotlight on it. So, we're trying to encourage help, reach out through a variety of initiatives. There's all sorts of things we're engaged in across the UK in different sectors, be it aerospace, maritime, land, and trying to, ultimately help with simple and more complex barriers. We aren't also perfect in this space as well. We've got a huge amount of legacy. The comment from the panelist earlier is absolutely true. That is a barrier. That is the thing that can prevent innovation, and it can prevent us sometimes reaching out and being able to accelerate innovation in the way we'd like. But we do need to knock that over. And a lot of the industrial digital technologies today, that challenge is being understood, and there's a lot of innovative companies out there that are starting to deal with it, and we're really keen to work with those companies. So yeah, it's an exciting time, and obviously a lot happening in this area.
Yeah, no, great, and totally agreed. And again, congratulations for all the good work you do in this space. By the way, I forgot to say, Austin wasn't able to get his camera working for technology reasons, but I can assure you this picture of him is definitely Austin. We have a couple of questions in now. So given I've got you on the line, Austin, let's start with you. So the first question is, why do we think that the UK is a bit slow at adopting some of the newer technologies compared to, Germany is often used. I've got a lot of experience of that. We have, the question says we have lots of islands of brilliant technology and automation, but we're sometimes just not able to scale them up or adopt them as fast in our companies. Your thoughts on that, Austin?
From my experience, it's legacy barriers, as I said a minute ago, but also culture. A really sharp guy at a university once told me that culture eats strategy for breakfast, and is exactly what we encounter from time to time. So yeah, we've got a people and skills piece, we've got a leadership piece to do in the UK, and actually that's something that through the work you've done previously, you've already identified through Made Smarter reviews, that leadership, that skills piece, educating the next generation of people coming into industry as to what the art of the possible is, rather than them getting bogged down with the limitations of legacy that we already have, so that they can look to those new solutions and look to adopt and accelerate adoption. So we have got that challenge, and we are trying to address that challenge through, again, other set of initiatives. But that, from my experience, is typically the two main ones is legacy and culture, which are ultimately connected.
Yeah, no, very good. You were obviously reading the second question, which was all about that skills, and actually, when the question from Phyllis here goes a little bit beyond that, which is organization just understanding the art of the possible with digital technologies. Jermaine, I'm guessing from your name, I could be completely wrong, but that you have some experience of all of this in France, or maybe in other regions as well. And I'm wondering whether you can draw any comparisons or any learning that we could take in the UK to help embrace and adopt these technologies faster.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, obviously, yes. My name says it all. I'm originally from France, but I've been in UK 20 odd years now. So, but obviously, yes. I think what Austin said is for sure, culture has a huge impact in terms of how we integrate new technology quicker, and and for sure there is differences between countries, but we shouldn't be shy. There is a lot of strong knowledge and willingness to adopt technology. So we shouldn't be shy on the other countries, and we need to accelerate. And such programs help us. I think big organizations, because big organizations have got the same issue in every country, and how to adopt technology. So this type of program, Made Smarter, will help us and make us more competitive. So for sure it's a big help for such companies.
Yeah, no, great. Thank you, Jermaine. And less of a question, but a comment coming in from Josephine, who did an MSc on the issues of comparing this to Germany and Britain. And one of the answers that came out from that is that the UK industry focuses much more on services and less so on manufacturing, which is a good point. Having said that, I'll challenge that slightly, because I think even in the service sector, sometimes the UK can be a little bit slower at adopting digital technologies, especially in small to medium-sized companies. Martin, Charles, we're nearly out of time, but any quick final thoughts from you on this whole topic of technology adoption in comparison to other regions and how we need to accelerate it? Charles?
I would probably just say one area, which is all about, I see two things. One is appetite to risk. I see that a lot. Yeah. I do really take what Jermaine said about, just getting on with it. We've got enough capability here. And I think the final point I want to say is we're not, I don't know, we just seem to be reluctant to use enablement tools. Yeah, we've got enough tools out there with tech suppliers to move fast. Yeah, a lot of people seem to fall back and I just want to build everything myself and own everything. Right, sometimes we have to let go of that and we just have to use what's available to move faster and learn faster and fail faster. Yeah, so back to that topic, Jürgen. That's me, thank you.
No, totally agreed. Any final reflection from you, Martin?
I think just to add to what Charles just said there, we don't really as a business buy technologies per se, we buy outcomes. And quite often it's about building jigsaws from existing pieces. And I think it comes back to that point on ecosystems. There's often to develop a business outcome or a new solution or an innovative product, there's various different parties need to come together. And I think as a kind of an industry and as a country as a whole, we could do better at trying to stimulate those kinds of environments. And I think that's the essence of the Made Smarter program, because it allows us to have a direct connection with a real problem and somebody who potentially got the solution to that problem. And it doesn't rely on tech leaders like myself to help my business colleagues kind of navigate that landscape, which is very complex and quite scary to those guys, the abundance of opportunity through technology. So I think, by bringing the right ingredients together and focusing it in the right ways, I think that's got to be the secret to success moving forward.
I very much agree, and Paul in the chat very much agreeing with you there, and Charles as well. And certainly, I'll close by saying it's my experience too. I spent many decades selling technology, both into the British and the German marketplace. And, and very often in Germany, a typical customer would say, no, can we talk about your next technology? I'm more interested in what's coming next. And the appetite for risk and being ahead of the game and being globally best, was just huge. And in the UK, yes, you have some organizations where that flies, but in many others, it's sort of, well, actually, can we just keep running with this for another 10 years? And can we just keep patching it up? And much more risk averse. And I think that leaves us on a nice high, which is that you're spot on, Martin, which is, to help people is to have programs like this, Made Smarter Technology Accelerator, where people can come and play and experiment and trial in a lower risk environment rather than doing it straight in your own factory. And I think that makes this program so great. And I'm certainly now already looking forward to hearing what some of those new edgy next generation technologies are as we engage with some of our startups who are going to give us pictures next. And to introduce that, I'm going to hand back to Justin, but first, before I do that, say huge thanks to all of you who've joined this panel, and of course for your support of the Technology Accelerator program. Much appreciated to all of you. Virtual round of applause, and back to you, Justin.
Thank you very much, Jürgen, and thank you to all the panelists. If you wouldn't mind now, please turn off your cameras. Fantastic. Well, there's no need to wait any longer, Jürgen, because the next step in the event is the prototype, the first batch prototyping events. So let me just quickly share my screen. Over the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to be hearing from 8 of the startups that joined the cohort, like I said, on the 29th of March. They've each got 3 minutes to talk about the challenge and discuss and show you the solution that they've built over the last 12 weeks rapid prototyping stage. After each pitch, we are going to be running a very short poll. And when I say short, it's literally one question. What we want to know is if you're interested in the company that's just pitched and you would like further engagement, then please make the right selection for that. And someone from the Digital Catapult team will be able to facilitate that introduction after this event. But I think it's now time for me to stop talking and welcome Simon from Machine Intelligence. Simon, if you could please unmute and share your video. Over to you.
Thanks very much, Justin. Hi, I'm Dr. Simon Harding from Machine Intelligence. I'm an engineer, software developer and scientist who's worked across academia and industry. I set up my own company to take some of what I've learned out of the lab and put it into the real world. And today I'm here to talk about Machine Intelligence's work with the BAE Visual Inspection Challenge. So what's the problem? At BAE, as in all manufacturing, products must be checked for defects. Quality and safety are, of course, prime drivers for this, but reducing waste also has clear financial and environmental benefits. Visual inspection is one of the most common and obvious checks to make, and for some products or components, this can be easily automated. Simple pattern matching might be all that you need. All toasters should look the same. For other components, the inspection may be more complicated or less easily defined. Maybe the piece is organic, checking fruit for disease, or maybe the piece is handcrafted, hand-finished, an artisan piece. I don't just mean something knocked up in a shed for a craft fair, but this is something common, surprisingly common in low volume, high value manufacturing. And here humans are typically used. But humans lose focus, get tired, make mistakes, and are expensive. So what's the typical route? Cameras coupled with machine learning can be used to alleviate, or at least help alleviate, some of these problems. And lots of solutions exist, and people often jump straight towards neural network-based systems. However, these are black boxes and a complicated setup, and often require many hundreds, if not thousands, of training images. And also, how does anyone actually know how they work in order to build confidence in their deployment? So there are alternatives. Machine intelligence has been developing a technology that works in a completely different way. Using bio-inspired algorithms, it evolves computer programs. And these programs can be debugged, inspected, read, and understood. And because these programs can include domain knowledge, the solutions can be discovered with minimal training examples. MI's solution bridges the gap between humans writing software and machine learning. What once could have been engineered by a person can now be discovered by a machine. As part of this prototype, we've developed an easy-to-use user interface that takes the user end-to-end through the process, labeling training data, configuring the AI, teaching it, and also viewing the results. In this challenge, working with BAE, we have successfully used our toolkit to detect defects in X-ray images of welds. For finding these defects, X literally marks the spot. So we are developing and improving some fundamental technology and solving important problems in many areas. In the MVP stage, we would like to apply this system to other inspection challenges at BAE. MRI, ultrasound, regular camera feeds can all be used, expanding our opportunities. At Machine Intelligence, we have developed a novel solution, which means we can move into novel domains, and we really can make intelligent machines. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Simon. If you could now please mute and go off camera, that would be fantastic, and stop sharing your screen. We'll now have the poll quickly pop up. Fantastic. Just leave a couple of seconds to complete that. Right, and now it will be for me to introduce Alex from DM Innovations. Alex, if you could please unmute and share your screen, that would be fantastic.
Thanks very much, Justin, and good afternoon, everyone. So this is the Eurofighter Typhoon. It protects our skies from threats like Russian bombers or hijacked aircraft as part of the RAS Quick Reaction Alert. For the manufacturers of this aircraft, missing a customer order doesn't lead to a bad review on Trustpilot. It could be the difference between launching a crucial sortie or aborting a mission. BAE is one of these manufacturers as the lead member of a 4-nation consortium. Knowing the weight of this responsibility, they set us a challenge: leverage advanced data techniques to improve the complex supply chain for a specific Typhoon assembly. Now, to set the scene, the type of supply chain we were working with was initially designed in the 80s and 90s, improving over time, but without a wholesale digital transformation. That means that in certain places, it's paper-based and deeply reliant on human relationships. BAE wanted to explore ways in which they could work more effectively, at the same time simplifying complexity, supporting existing ways of working, and embracing technology that could automate and scale. That meant doing things like turning a bill of materials from raw data into actionable insight. The project team was comprised of 4 people from DM and the challenge owners at BAE. Working alongside BAE's in-house logistics experts, we leveraged DM's decades of experience in defense analysis and data science to develop a solution together. This software solution, Scale Plus, puts the ability to monitor, analyze, and predict supply chains directly into the hands of logistics experts. Scale Plus leverages and combines DM's technology to deliver benefits at all levels of the organization. It gives both analysts and managers real-time visibility of their supply chains, and then allows them to test those ideas for targeted improvements without needing a PhD in simulation. So what impact did we want to have? Well, we focused on a simple but powerful user interface to cut through the noise of complex supply chains while aligning with existing workflows. This means that users can spend their time adding strategic value, like improving resilience and efficiency. Scale Plus is also compatible with different data sources, meaning it can be retrofitted onto legacy systems. During the MVP phase, we're going to scale our existing prototype and integrate it with BAE's on-premises infrastructure. We'll be building features like supplier management, as well as cost and carbon modeling to support wider organizational goals. So in summary, global investment in supply chain technology totals $15 billion every year. To make sure manufacturers from every industry get to benefit from that revolution in technology, we want to position our platform as a stepping stone between the old and the new. Thank you.
Alex, thank you very much. Spot on 3 minutes. So everyone, as before, a poll will go up. If you want to hear more from DM Innovations, please make the right choice. And we'll just wait while that poll comes up. Here we go. Okay, right. So next on the list is Invotech. If I could now please invite Michael to please share your video, put your presentation on and unmute. It would be fantastic.
And hi everyone. I would like to tell you about Smart Porcupine, a sewer monitoring device we've developed for Northumbrian Water. Working on this project, I've discovered a universal truth. Nobody appreciates a blocked sewer, and yet blocked sewers are a fact of life. They result in tens of thousands of floods into homes and rivers. The negative effects are not only the enormous cost to fix the sewer, but also the distress caused to homeowners and the environment. Sewer blockages are problematic for water utilities due to the enormous cost of clear-up. They can also result in flooding, which can lead to heavy fines by the regulator. Blockages are all too often caused by wet wipes flushed into the sewer. At Invotech, our vision is to develop robotics and automation for our customers to make their lives easier and get the job done more safely and cost-effectively. We specialize in solving hard-to-automate problems in places that we don't want to send people. As a company, we innovate in mobile robotics, edge computing, and AI. We have a team of experts in electronics, machine learning, software development, and mechanical design. So, how are we tackling the problem of identifying wet wipes in sewers? Over the last 12 weeks, we have developed the prototype Smart Porcupine device, which is an intelligent monitoring system operating from the sewer but connected to the cloud. It is designed to inform the water company of 3 things. Is the sewer blocked? Is a blockage forming? And are wipes being flushed into the sewer? Smart Porcupine can be deployed in any sewer, particularly in known problem areas. It directly senses all flow, monitoring 24 hours per day. It is powered by an AI model which differentiates between wet wipes and normal flow. So far, we have shown we can automatically identify wipes with an accuracy of 85%. The ops team within Northumbrian will see alerts from all the devices deployed around our network. There is no remote or automated solution on the market that can monitor a sewer for wipes. Currently, Northumbrian uses a manual Porcupine device to physically catch wipes from the flow. Smart Porcupine will therefore be a paradigm shift in remote sewer monitoring. It will digitize the process and create new monitoring parameters which are accessible remotely and in real time. It will predict blockages before they happen and will identify key areas of wipe activity. The device is a low-cost solution installed easily and moved around the catchment for hotspot analysis. The solution is more hygienic and safer to use than current practice. Smart Porcupine can bring enormous value to water companies by enabling a shift to proactive maintenance before blockages happen. This can reduce fines, create rewards, and reduce unscheduled maintenance, potentially saving companies tens of millions per year. For Northumbrian, it will help them meet their 2025 flooding targets by assisting in the reduction of blockages, 80% of which are caused by wipes. Invotech would like the opportunity to move to a market-ready solution, and we would love to continue working closely with Northumbrian to steer the product development. Thanks so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Michael. If you wouldn't mind now, please muting and turn off your camera. So yeah, if you would like to hear more from Invotech, then please make the selection here and we'll facilitate that afterwards. Next up is Roger from Riskon. If you could, you're already on, Roger. Okay, if you could share your screen, that would be fantastic, and I'll disappear.
I'm just waiting for the poll thing to drop down. Let's count now. Great, thanks, Justin, and good afternoon, everyone. As Justin said, I'm Roger, and I'll be here today to talk to you about the integrated water supply monitoring project we've been doing with Northumbria Water. So, let me pose a question to you. How do you know that your drinking water is safe? Well, your probable answer is it's provided by someone who checks it regularly, and you'd be right. The UK water industry is world leading in providing water for our nation. But if you are that provider, you ask yourself another question. How do I know that the water I'm providing is safe? To those 2.7 million consumers provided from 40 different sources via treatment and delivery through piping that if stood end to end would wrap more than halfway around the world. Well, the answer to that is a little harder. And it starts by saying with a lot of hard work and a significant amount of laboratory testing, taking lots of man hours in the field. But what if we could utilize technology to increase the amount of the network we can monitor whilst reducing requirements on staff? Well, that's going to be worth an investigation. And this is the step that Northumbria Water have embarked on with partners Riskon and Inventure, outstanding experts in the field of water quality management and IoT cloud solutions, respectively. With their combined unique capabilities, we have taken the first steps to near live system monitoring for water quality through development of a cloud-enabled remote sensor module. Let's introduce you to the solution and see the work that we've done so far. So with a challenge such as water monitoring, remote water monitoring, you have to bring the best in sensors, electronics, comms, and cloud architecture to provide a solution that can be deployed over a vast network area. A product capable of recording multiple water parameters, an ability to select optimum mobile networks, full remote operation, and scalable cloud architecture to allow for multiple device deployment. But this clever sensor box is just the start, with the corresponding platform providing features such as dynamic dashboarding and alert functionality, allowing customers the knowledge to make better data-driven decisions. Look, we know some challenges remain, engineering work to meet the requirements of the water network environment, but this is what this team does best, solving problems and designing solutions to meet real business needs. So now we can monitor key water safety parameters remotely, consistently, flexibly, all built in a one-off prototype for less than 1/4 of the market price of the nearest solution. I'm not sure about you, but that makes me want to know more, to see it in action in the field, helping the real world and viewing it deployed at scale. And you can make that happen by supporting us for this next phase. Let's take these unique capabilities, interchangeable water parameter monitoring, automated network selection, and integrated analytics into Northumbria Water's business process framework. Help us get this solution to scale, assisting the UK to secure its water delivery for the future, and taking this technology overseas to new markets in the developing world, see if we can improve the lives of those most in need on the way. Thanks very much for your time.
Roger, thank you very much. If you wouldn't mind unsharing the screen and muting, that'd be fantastic. Then we can run the poll. For anyone out there that wants to understand more about what Riskon have been working on for the last 12 weeks, please make your selection now. While you're doing that, I will invite Enda from Pentiot to please unmute and share your screen. And your 3 minutes is coming up.
Thank you, Justin. Pentiot took up the challenge presented by O'Neill Sports International to implement automated sewing. All clothing worldwide is hand sewn by machinists, hand machining material through sewing machines. The majority of this labor locally and nationally is aging and declining, with little interest from people in the live register engaging in what they see as a non-career path orientated employment. Internationally, the issues in outsourced environments are typically poor working conditions and employee exploitation. O'Neill's have maintained their sewing environment O'Neill's have maintained their sewing floor in the UK. Together, we implemented a solution to use a state-aware machine to feed frame material to achieve a sewn output. Sorry. With this approach, we're able to sew an entire sports jersey. We have a prototype machine which can assemble one of O'Neill's biggest lines without using a sewing machinist resource. This step alone has the potential to address HR issue and put O'Neill's in a path to scalability. While we've achieved sewing without a sewing machinist and achieved a path to scalability for O'Neill's, we believe this is the tip of the iceberg. We would like to see an automated needle threader developed, which would allow different color threads to be automatically loaded into a sewing machine to attach different color attachments to a garment. We would like to develop an automation scheme to pick material from a cutting desk and assemble it into frames for automated sewing. Ultimately, we would like to develop this entire sewing environment into a containerized production environment. Just-in-time manufacturing in the automotive industry delivers parts to assembly lines just in time to be attached to an assembly. We believe that just-in-time garment manufacturing could be delivering PPE into the NHS just in time for our healthcare staff to use. Too often do we see the poor and marginalized in developing countries being exploited to deliver the world's fashion, with many paying the ultimate price and losing their lives in building fires and building collapses. Let's bring this manufacturing home to the UK. Let's reduce carbon to the lowest level possible by moving the manufacturing to the retail edge, to the commercial edge, and to the medical edge. Let's reduce unemployment by retraining those on the live register so that they can become part of the service industry to service this new disruptive industry. We took up the challenge, we built the team, we built the prototype, and now we'd like you to help us take us to the next stage so we can deliver a solution to bring manufacturing back to the UK. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Enda. If you wouldn't mind muting and unsharing your screen. The challenges of virtual events, shame about that, but it's a very worthy and interesting challenge that Penshot have been addressing there for O'Neill's. But as I said before, the poll is on the screen. If you would like to hear more about what Penshot have been doing, please make the selection now. In the meantime, I would like to invite Martin from Metis Automation to please unmute and share your screen, and the floor is yours.
Hey, thanks, Justin. Here we go. Hi everyone, I'm Martin Griffiths, CTO at Metis Automation, and we've been working on a challenge for O'Neill Sportswear to help them handle the challenges of mass customization of their jerseys in the manufacturing process. And that's because today people want to be able to design exactly what they want on their own sportswear, whether that be the colors, numbers, or their names. But the challenge of this is it can lead to thousands of possible combinations that a manufacturing process has to contend with. And if just one mistake is made in manufacture, that can lead to a massive wastage of material, or even worse, potentially shipping the wrong product to a customer that can lead to permanent brand damage. So our solution is to use our manufacturing software to seamlessly connect to the sales order process, where the customer has designed exactly what they want, and then to use a camera at the earliest possible stage in the process to identify which of those thousands of potential options should be in this jersey, and then automatically detect its presence. And from that, we'll be able to signal to the production operator whether this order is okay to go on to the next stage in the process. And this is currently done by a person doing a manual visual inspection at the end of that process line. And they're prone to fatigue and to making mistakes. So the value in our system is it'll be done much faster, automated, and much earlier, meaning much less material and energy wastage. And the reason that we're doing this and why we're involved in the challenge is because I think work life shouldn't be about firefighting and chasing after solutions to problems. I think there should be time and space for people to enjoy their work life, to have balance, and to be their architects of their own future. And I think that our solution can enable that for people working in manufacturing. And while we're initially focusing on solving this for garment manufacture, I see this potentially as a global market for people who want to capitalize on mass customization, where it will give them a clear competitive advantage in their market. And while there are many automated vision inspection systems on the market, they often take time to configure, and it would be impractical to reconfigure the system for every new customer order when trying to achieve mass customization. So our solution will reconfigure automatically, configuring, cutting setup time, and giving manufacturers the tools to rapidly deploy mass customization. And we're well placed to tackle this challenge, as we've been developing software to solve quality and inspection problems in over 100 projects now over the past 10 years. So I'd like to ask your help for your vote to help us build an MVP of an automated visual inspection system that will help manufacturers to develop and deploy their own mass customization processes. It will free up people's time and attention to help them lead their business to the next level and become market leaders themselves. Thanks very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Martin. So yes, the poll will be coming up now. If you would like to understand more about Meta's automation, please make a selection. Martin, if you could stop sharing your screen and go off camera, that would be fantastic. Dorian, no need for introductions. Total Control Pro is up next. Dorian, over to you.
Justin, thank you very much. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dorian Smelly. I'm the CEO of Total Control Pro, and our challenge is bringing adaptive planning to complex processes. So today's manufacturing is a global competition for increased productivity and efficiency. However, as we speak, there are thousands of resources, machines, skilled people, production lines, just sitting idle on factory floors, just waiting to be directed and instructed. So the reality is planners are under huge pressure, with the impact of both a good plan and indeed a poor plan being felt by everyone within their organization. But what would it be like if technology was smart enough to continually monitor, analyze, schedule, instruct an optimum workflow, and indeed learn as it goes, all in real time? Well, this is the promise that machine learning, adaptive planning has to offer. Right resource, at the right place, at the right time, doing the right task for the right job. And it's this possibility that Total Control Pro are breathing life into with their challenge partner, Safran. The prototype team has combined our capabilities with that of the AI expertise of Northampton University and the manufacturing team from Safran themselves. We focus on a single CNC cell to create a smart digital twin that analyzes demand, availability of resources, workflow rules, and generates optimum schedules, shop floor work to lists, and interactive WIP status displays, all architected to learn from historic work to improve future planning. The prototype allows Safran to make complex scheduling decisions based upon large, real-time data sets and allows them to move from expediting to a 100% agile planning and scheduling process. Safran themselves said, our planners can now spend time on value-added activities. We can improve on-time delivery, factory efficiencies, and optimize key production KPIs. We also can significantly reduce inventory costs through the production cycle using this prototype. So what's next? The Digital Accelerator MVP now offers the opportunity for us to build out on this prototype, to take its know-how, to fully flex the machine learning capabilities, to optimize across multiple departments, subcontractors for the full production life cycle of the product. Our commitment is to create this MVP as a scalable cloud product offering that's agile, accessible, available, and affordable, and to empower all UK manufacturing with smart adaptive planning capability. In doing so, we aim to deliver on 10,000 hours per year of productivity gain for a typical SME organization and support them in winning the productivity game in global manufacturing. I thank you for your support and invite you to click yes to know more on Justin's poll. Thank you, Justin. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Dorian. If you can now stop sharing your screen and please mute your audio, that'd be fantastic. And like Dorian said, if you would like to know more about Total Control Pro, then please select yes on the poll there. Okay, so the last company that we're going to hear from before we head to a break is Matthew from Zyzo. Matthew, I'll hand the floor to you. If you wouldn't mind sharing your screen, and you've got 3 minutes.
Thank you, Justin. So, did you know that a set of landing gear on an Airbus A320 is designed to withstand over 60,000 landings? Or that an aircraft lands on a set of landing gear manufactured by our ICO Safran landing systems every 2 seconds? Neither did we. In fact, Safran are responsible for building the landing gear nose and rear for all of the aircraft on screen. Now, the manufacturing process of landing gear is incredibly complex, as is the testing process. And in fact, the testing rigs are even more complex, having to mimic the precise forces and power attributed to a landing. The data created by these tests is truly big data. But what happens when a test fails? Is it the fault of the landing gear or the test rig? Right now, Safran aren't sure. And any delay in the testing process causes delays upstream production, affects the workshop, Safran, and of course, their customers. But that's not the only challenge here. There is no internet access. That means no cloud, no IoT platforms, no big data tools or technologies, and a completely locked down data system. And from our research into the market, Safran are not alone. So how do you solve this challenge? You need Zyzo. Architected from the ground up to solve big data challenges without the need for the cloud or expensive hardware, our award-winning patented technology platform is used by thousands of end users worldwide across billions of data points. The Zyzo team have been together for over 10 years, and our first deployment of Zyzo was to over 9,000 users across 8 billion rows of data. We compressed data from 7 terabytes to 190 gigabytes and saved our customer over £3 million in hardware costs. And we did all this on a server that cost less than £20,000. Fast forward to today, and we are bringing this analytical capability right to the edge. Our solution is flexible, portable, and can easily add new sensor types as and when required. Backed up by self-service analysis capability across 2 years of historical data, alongside data modeling, data analysis, and data cleansing, we can truly add value to Safran's data. The final piece of the puzzle is IoT and sensor management and long-term real-time analysis. Working with a global partner to develop devices for scientific analysis, we have been able to add this technology to our platform. The solution is currently live in Safran Gloucester, collecting data for analysis. And all of this runs on a box the size of a laptop that can be plugged into a 3-pin plug. But the journey doesn't end here. As we start to collect data, we can start to build models for predictive maintenance. We can add more complex data science to look at statistical process control, add data from other countries to create a holistic view of operational performance. And our solution can work with any machine or device in the workshop. So with the capability to integrate, analyze, and visualize data from any structured or semi-structured data source, wherever there may be power or internet connection, our solution has many different capabilities in different sectors, for instance, in maritime, MOD, agriculture, or retail. So this is more than analytics. Welcome to data science at the edge. Welcome to Zyzo. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Matthew. And thank you to all our presenters who representatives from the startups who just pitched to you all. If you want to hear more about Zyzo, please make the top selection there on the poll that you see in front of you. But now we're going to head to our break. So we're pretty much spot on time. Matthew, if you wouldn't mind unsharing your screen, thank you. Yeah, we're pretty much on time. So we've got a 10-minute break now for you to stretch your legs, make yourself a coffee, have a think about some of the prototypes you've just witnessed and also the discussion in the first panel. And we're going to start sharp at 4:20, straight into the next panel discussion. And then we've got another run of startup pitches for you before the closing remarks from Chris. Okay, well, enjoy your break and we'll see you back in 10 minutes. We are now going to move straight into the next part of the prototype presentation showcase, and it's the second panel for today. I'm about to invite Priyo Guha, MBE, who is also a venture partner at Merriam Ventures, as well as member of Innovate UK Council and a non-executive director of Digital Catapult, to please, if you could now share your screen and unmute and invite the guests for the next panel discussion.
Thank you so much, Justin. An absolute pleasure to be here. So I wanted to introduce my fellow panelists for today. We have a fantastic lineup for you. If I could ask Jim Simpson from Babcock to join us. Jim is the Group Head of Research and Partnerships at Babcock International Group. In that role, he's responsible for developing research and business collaborations to grow tech solutions for Babcock International Group. Welcome, Jim. Can I also ask Scott Reed to join us? Scott is from GAF. He's the SVP for Quality and Manufacturing Services, leading the team providing end-to-end support to all of GAF's manufacturing operations in areas like process engineering, quality services, capital engineering, operations technology, and the list goes on. So a really interesting portfolio. Thank you for joining us, Scott. We also have Sarah Blandford from Sainsbury's. Sarah's been at Sainsbury's for over 10 years and is currently the category manager for produce and horticulture. In that role, she's developing and leading a team of product and sourcing experts looking after all produce and horticultural related areas through their supply chains. She's also Sherpa to the Food and Drink Sector Council Innovation Working Group. Welcome, Sarah. And then last but very much not least, we have Tony Judd from Verizon. Tony is the Managing Director of Verizon Business Group's UK and Ireland business, with a primary focus on enabling enterprise clients to transform themselves into adaptive enterprises by harnessing the next generation of networking, security, and UX services. Welcome to you all. So I wonder if I can kick off, Tony, with a question to you. Amongst various industry reports that we've seen, such as Capgemini's annual report, they show that amongst digital leaders, only 56% of organizations create business cases. Could you tell us how Verizon deals with this? Do you have a digital investment committee established to deal with these business cases, or do you do it differently?
Hi, Priya. Differently, I think, is the answer to that. There's no specific investment committee around digital. Most organizations like ours and many around today are digital first, cloud first. That's a normal. So when you're looking at foundations for growth, whether it's improving customer experience, reducing costs, improving productivity, or driving sustainability, whatever their foundations are, it's very much a digital first strategy. So really the problem, that we have to solve, and I think many organizations have to solve, is just with technology advancing at such an incredible pace. So whether it's, in our case, 5G, MEC, AI, XR, and combinations of the above with sort of as a service type architectures, the competitive landscape's changing at an equal dramatic pace with that. And customers' behavior is also changing at pace, moreover in the last 15 months, because we've all been on a pandemic. So really the issue we have to solve for is there's plenty of business cases that deliver a positive ROI. The issue is what's your priority on them? And moreover, how do you keep agile with that priority? Because things are changing so dramatically and so dynamically. It's just how do you keep agile? And that's really where we are in terms of the committees we have about continually looking and reevaluating where we are and where we need to course correct.
Sarah, I wonder if I could bring you in at this point and ask how you deal with these areas of evaluating business cases at Sainsbury's.
Yes, so hello everyone. We always try and take a customer first approach. So actually, what is this going to deliver for our end customer? And as Tony rightly says, that is ever changing and probably at a faster pace now than it has previously. So we're always looking to say, right, what value could this mean for our customers? And then actually from a prioritization perspective within our strategy, where does it fit? And then the final answer would be actually, does it make us go quicker? Does it make us more efficient? And we actually do that across all innovations. So whether we're looking for a new solution, or if it is even a new type of food, that would be a similar approach to say, actually, what does the customer insight say? What's it going to add to them? How does it fit with our strategy? And then we would set milestones in place to track delivery of that.
Thank you, Sarah, so much. And just, it might be worth us removing your headphones and just trying without headphones, just to give a little bit more clarity, but we'll test that out when we come back to you. Scott, I wonder if I could bring you in at this point, because when we were discussing before this panel, you gave a really interesting sense of the sorts of indicators that GAF might look at before you went down the path of investing in, exploring in a new technology. Can you talk us through that?
Of course, a couple of areas. As most companies, we seek to differentiate ourselves from our competition in the markets that we serve and the customers that we serve. And part of that differentiation, the classic tools in manufacturing, lean processes, these are all still very manual processes and systems. The continuous improvement effort that comes from the application of these tools has become asymptotical in terms of delivery of improvements and savings. So we have to look for new ways and new insights, and using digital tools and searching out for what those are has enabled us to take a totally different mindset in how we approach our manufacturing. Also in the area of disruption, we have deployed a strategy both offensively and defensively as related to disruption, where we want to defend, we're using these digital technologies to help us better our products and services, cut costs, to improve quality, and then as we seek to be on the offensive of disruption, we're also using advanced analytics to help us identify and understand what is emerging in the fronts of digital technology. Who are these companies, these startups? What do they do? How will we apply their technologies? And whether they are directly applicable to what we do today, or we see that there is some strength and future in what they can provide, we're looking to extend and expand our current business portfolios to adapt these technologies into other areas.
Thank you very much, Scott. Jim, can I bring you on the same question? How do you think about the return on investment for these new technologies and the criteria used to assess that at Babcock?
Yeah, thank you. It's very similar. We have the same time, cost, quality triangle that's used throughout business, I would say. But for us, time can be as critical as cost. Most of what we do is around maintaining assets, making sure assets are available for our customer. If we lose time there, then we can be penalized, but there's significant reputational damage. So that time factor is just as important. And so manufacturing lead times particularly come into play there. The other thing I'd say is that we are, again, like many businesses at the sharp end, quite short-term focused. So we're looking for benefits around the 18 months mark and 2 years at a stretch. And the business case changes very much for anything out beyond that, where that becomes a research project really with more uncertainty. So it's sorry to say it, but there's a short-term focus there. And then the final point I'd like to make is that we're really looking to solve problems. We're looking to address needs that we have, and so I'm quite often asked to look at unsolicited proposals, and that's very hard. If I can't land something when we've got so many business priorities currently in train, adding something new in and creating a need is hard work. But what we can do is work with someone who's offering a business case and try and develop that to match a need, or to try and develop the needs, the statement of needs with the supplier that's offering something. So I think we'll collaborate and do that because we recognise that there might be something we've missed there.
And Jim, may I just follow up with one clarification, because the audience might be interested in this. When you talk about unsolicited versus solicited, tell us a little bit about how the solicited route works. So
yeah, that's I guess I was going to talk about that a bit later on, perhaps if we drove around to ecosystems and so on. But yeah, we have a very well-established supply chain. It's perhaps not as dynamic and as venturous as we'd always like, but we have that in place. And so we do go out and offer or ask the questions, and particularly with our academic partnerships and some of the SMEs we work with, we will do that in a collaborative way. So a solicited proposal, I guess, is where we've gone out and asked for something. We've put a requirement set in place and then said, who can solve this problem? And unsolicited is unfortunately where most people in the BD community are working, is they're trying to get a they're trying to land something, and so yeah, that is unfortunately much harder to make work in business. That's kind of the distinction I was making.
Thank you. That's a really helpful way to understand it. I wanted to move over to the theme of sustainability, but before I do that, just a gentle reminder, as I think has been flagged in the chat, please do fire in your questions. There is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, so please do use it. And if you've got any burning questions for anyone on this panel or all of the people on this panel, just fire away. So on that theme of sustainability, I wanted to come back to you, Sarah, and ask just a little bit about how you think about factoring in sustainability when you're looking at investments in digital technologies.
Yes, of course. Hopefully you can hear me a bit better. Apologies, I'm in the office, so I can't take my headphones off. So we have recently launched our Helping Everyone Eat Better plan. And that is not only around making healthy food choices, but also the right choices for the planet. So we are actually looking at how we hardwire sustainability into all of our business decisions. It's a key part of our strategy. And what we have actually started doing is when we are assessing new suppliers, for example, then we are actually looking at their sustainability credentials as well. So therefore, it's a key part of that business decision to say, actually, not only would you look at probably the predictable price and quality aspect, but you'd also be looking at price, quality, and sustainability.
Thank you. Tony, can I come to you on the same theme? How do you think about sustainability as one of the decision-making factors at Verizon?
Sure, I couldn't agree more with Sarah. I mean, if you look at the bigger picture, sustainability, digital and growth, and really trying to find the things where they all come together and they intersect. And that's where we try and position ourselves, because that's where the successful organizations of the future are going to end up. But, you know, there's even in doing that, there's unintended consequences. So, you know, there's an impact on people's jobs, for example, and as you automate more. So in our world, you know, we're building architectures and networks that self-configure, self-heal, don't need truck rolls, you know, so great on sustainability, unintended consequence, people lose their jobs. So we've got to put a lot of effort as the organization into reskilling not just our people, but the community at large. We've got a huge volunteer practice. We actually 529,000 hours of volunteer work we did last year as an organization, and work with organizations like Business in the Community in the UK to really get out there and help around reskilling people, protecting the climate, and also expanding you know, people's access to digital. And why is this important to us? And as I say, this is where it loops back to Sarah, is that we consider it when we look for partners, but also our customers are increasingly considering it when they look towards us. And they know that if they have got three vendors that are roughly the same, the one who's got the strong sustainability credentials is going to be the route by which they can contribute themselves to improving sustainability as well. So it's gained incredible importance over the last couple of years, and I think that's going to continue, you know, at pace over the next few years as well.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. And that customer prioritization is really relevant to this discussion, isn't it? Jim, I wanted to come to you on another theme. Data is really the buzzword of today, isn't it? But surprisingly, I think the EY Parthenon program showed that only about 50% of companies have invested in data or data analytics. How important are data analytics to your decision-making at Babcock?
It's crucially important, and we see it as a huge differentiator going forward. So we're lucky in our area of business, we have access to a significant pool of data that the customer holds as the second largest supplier to the MOD, and working in that support environment, we are on the same systems and we can access all of that data. Turning it into useful information is much harder. So we've started a process of upskilling and trying to develop our our in-house capabilities, with data scientists and so on, and the tools that we use as well. But really, there's the gap's massive, and to close that, we're very interested in the things like digital twins and so on, the tools that can do that for us. So I think it's going to be a factor going forwards as well, because the customer is going to want better, more efficient solutions, and you can take the better decisions with that data.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we were chatting about this, Scott, you mentioned that this was also a sort of top priority for how GAF thinks about things. Perhaps you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, probably very, very similar to Jim. I would say that in GAF, we're in the really, I think, at the beginning phases of utilizing the power of analytics. We have so much data in our company as a manufacturer, and more often the data have been used as a forensics tool to go back and look at and try to understand what's going on or what's happening. And as forensics go, you have to be very disciplined to have that kind of competency and functionality within your business, because people are busy, and we're making product 24/7. Also, our data tend to be very disparate, all different sources, difficult to collect, difficult to analyze. So we have taken those steps to turn the data into information. We have put together an analytics team that looks at business, market, financial, logistics, distribution, and operations and manufacturing. The power of the analytics is that, obviously we can gain insights, and we're gaining insights today, even with the collection of historical data as a model to understand directionality and where can we go to uncover some insights that hasn't been present before. Utilizing some set of criteria. And the really powerful thing about the analytics is it also leads you to challenge the criteria and iterate the criteria to discover broader and deeper opportunities from the data that otherwise would be totally undiscoverable. So it is a huge differentiator, as Jim said. We see the power, and our investment in analytics in GAF is growing year over year, both in terms of the tools that we're using and the people that are devoted to the analytical function.
That's really interesting to hear, Scott. And if I may stay with you, Scott, and switch tracks to a slightly different question, which is, obviously one of the most important things about making a new technology work is integrating that into the business. So could you give us a flavor of how you might test a prototype or bring on an MVP within GAF?
Well, I have to tell you, we're learning every day. We began our Industry 4.0 journey about 3 years ago, and really, starting with understanding the platform that we needed, the data, the analytics piece that we needed, but just to go deploy technology. I think one of the biggest things that we have learned is adoption. And whatever you bring in, it needs to be able to be operationalized. So we have to be able to reconcile the business processes and the people processes around the technologies, and change management is a big component of that to make adoption successful. But we have started with proofs of concept, where, what is the output that we're expecting, and is it directionally correct? Can it be determined? From there, we move to a pilot phase, where we're really starting then to begin to understand the requirements to operationalize whatever the technology may be. Again, we're a very people-oriented manufacturing company. So some of these technologies are around automation and the inputs and the outputs of these technologies and the responses and the behaviors of the people, the skill sets and the competencies to work with these technologies of the manufacturing operators that we have that produce our products. It's paramount that they understand how to use these tools. So in that pilot phase, we're looking to bring together the business processes and the people along with the technology. Then we typically move into the MVP, which is all of the other attributes that are going to be required to scale. We want to make sure that those attributes are included in the product design. So again, we're still very immature in this process. We're learning every day, but we have found at least some ways to kind of divide the elements of the business and be able to determine again directionally whether it's going to be a benefit. If it's not, we're okay with spending the money and moving on quickly. In our agile processes, failing fast is definitely one area that we found is beneficial in bringing these technologies in and evaluating them.
Yeah, absolutely. Failing fast is such a good mantra in this context. I'm going to jump straight over to some of the questions we've been receiving because we are getting very close to time, but I want to make sure we answered some of them. So, Sarah, a quick fire for you. What's the toughest part of adapting new systems? Which part of the workforce finds that most challenging, do you think?
I think ensuring that we have the right skills in our colleagues to utilise the new technology is one of the toughest things, actually, because we need to make certain that not only are we innovating and bringing in new technology, new ideas, but actually we're training our team to be able to maximise those and get the most benefit out of it.
Yeah, that is a really, really good point. And I think it reflects what Jim had mentioned earlier as well. And maybe I can aim one final question at all of you, which is just to ask, when innovative companies come to you with ideas, can you maybe tell us a little bit about the particular sector or things that are priorities for your company, but also any top tips on things you'd need to see? Jim, could you kick that off for us?
Yeah, so I talked about time, cost, quality, add safety into that as well, but anything that addresses any of those and that you can express in ways that prove that, I think is going to land well. And anything that meets a need, that we can write that down and demonstrate that. And it doesn't need to, we can build the detail as we go through the process with you, but so it doesn't need to start with a 100-page proposal. We can start with writing it down on a single side of paper and saying, this is what we're going to try and do, and this is the need, and then go from there. So we can build it up in phases. So don't be daunted by, the Treasury Green Book on business cases or whatever. There's ways to build that up.
I love that. That's part of the collaboration. Tony, same question to you.
Yeah, I think the important thing is engaging with the right part of an organisation, because many organisations are still structured for, if you like, this very formal, rigid type process, when innovation happens in the fringes and the edges of a business. So, the key thing is to get to those fringes and edges and get in the labs, get with people that want to play with technology. Yeah, time, cost, quality, customer experience, productivity, all of these things are obviously important. But you just got to get to the point where people are playing with stuff, and most organisations now, we've got labs all around the world, including the one in London, the 5G lab in London. We've got Digital Catapult in, as you know, and yeah, just get people playing with stuff, and that's the way to engage.
Hands on, Scott.
Yeah, so the areas that we're looking for related to condition-based monitoring, elements that help us manage risk-based asset management, reliability in our operations, also product lifecycle management, how we track our products and materials through supply chain, through the end use to the customer, as well as a digital thread. We're trying to connect all the pieces and parts related to man, machine, materials, methods to our products, and that digital thread brings it all together. So it's maybe pretty holistic, but beginning with condition-based monitoring is really been our start.
Well, I think if anyone's got a technology that fits that bill, you know who to get in touch with. And last but very much not least, Sarah.
Yeah, so Sainsbury's is a pretty broad business. So I think I would echo exactly what Tony said, because it really depends on who you're approaching, but there does need to be an identifiable need for that. And then I think from my perspective, from a produce and horticulture, we are grappling quite a lot with some of the data and transparency that we need to ensure that we can then track some of our sustainability commitments. So that's probably one that I would call out in terms of where our need is there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all your insights, Jim, Sarah, Scott and Tony, and back to you, Justin, and the team for the rest of the pitches.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priya, and all the panelists. That was a really, really interesting discussion. Okay, as Priya said, it's now on to the remaining 6 prototype presentations. The companies you see here on the screen are the ones that are going to be pitching. Again, they've only got 3 minutes to explain the challenge and what they did over the 12 weeks. And we're also going to be running that poll just quickly after each pitch for you to register your interest. So without further ado, could I please invite Tom from JetSoft to share your screen and unmute.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Justin. Yes, I'm Tom Martin. I'm from JetSoft. We're a company that specialises in solutions to aid the capture, management and utilisation of inspection data across inspection techniques. And inspection data is important because as a data set, it has the power to revolutionise manufacturing. If you're looking to improve yields, reduce waste, become leaner, improve your right first time, create better quality product, then inspection data is the key information you should be using to direct process improvements to achieve that. If you want to reduce defects, then you need to know where, when, and why those defects are occurring. And actually, manufacturers are already performing the inspections. They have to ensure quality. But what they're not doing is harnessing this information to drive improvement and create a positive feedback loop. I know this. I've first-hand experience. I've spent my whole working life in the manufacturing industry and in the inspection industry. I've visited manufacturing sites around the world. I know the processes that are being performed, and I know the data that's being generated, and I know its potential. But there are a couple of blockers. Firstly, there is such a heavy reliance on paper-based reporting, which has many failings. You know, it's bad for management, traceability, and it prevents utilization. How can you possibly monitor something as simple as defects over time or the quality effect of an upstream process change when that data is locked away in a piece of paper or even in a PDF file? And secondly, there's a decouple between the inspection procedure and the results and reporting of the results. And so you get a lot of loss of the very raw, highly valuable data. Okay, so we've tried to tackle these 2 problems with 2 interconnected developments. Firstly, to combat the paper-based reporting, we've utilized our existing framework and we've developed an on-premise solution which empowers the manufacturer, enabling them to create digital forms, publish them, and make them available for users to complete. These are rich forms that don't just accept digital data. They actually allow the user to draw on 3D models, annotate 2D schematics, attach images, add videos, all stored in a centralized database. Users can create jobs with progress checkers to show the completion status. There's automatic reporting, versioning controls, alerts, and interactive data analysis tools. Actually, this isn't just a system for digitizing inspection records. It's kind of much more than that. It's a versatile, adaptable solution that can be used across facilities, across processes to collect rich information and manage those processes and improve the communication across stakeholders. Secondly, to capture the raw inspection data, that real valuable data, we've developed an electronic and software platform to fuse data from positional systems with that from inspection equipment, which enables the users to collect three-dimensional inspection data sets and ensure that none of that really valuable data is lost. At JetSoft, we've got a fantastic team, and we have a proven track record of taking innovative ideas, developing solutions, and deploying and delivering benefits to our customers. And we've got installations across manufacturing sites across Europe and the US. Yeah, thank you for taking an interest. And the one thing I want to leave you with is just have a think of whether you are actually maximizing the potential of your inspection data.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tom. Okay, if you would like to know more about JetSoft, please fill out the poll that's now come up on the screen. Tom, if you wouldn't mind, you've already gone. Okay, while you're doing that, it leaves me to please introduce Peter from CAE Tech to the event. Over to you, Peter.
Thank you, Justin. Hello, I'm Pete Harmon from CAE Tech. At CAE Tech, we believe there's a disconnect between design and manufacturing. For mass customization and modular construction projects, this is exaggerated as the need for continuously updated and clear design data on the shop floor is essential. Babcock uses modular construction methods in shipbuilding operations, where each compartment of the ship is assembled and outfitted prior to final assembly. Each compartment is different and design data communicated to the factory floor with paper drawings. The challenge set was whether complex 3D design data could be presented on the shop floor and how data access, version control, and change management could be incorporated. Any solution had to be appropriate for the hazardous and dusty environments of a production line and inside a ship. Our solution is Cicadas, or contactless interaction with CAD and systems. Cicadas combines cloud-based sharing of 3D CAD data with physical devices to give intuitive and user-friendly navigation of the design. For the factory floor, this is wrapped in a portable device containing a projector and a set of controllers. The challenge from Babcock was a perfect opportunity to develop our ideas for bringing design data to non-CAD users. In gaming and music, physical controllers are the norm in our commodity devices, but in engineering, we rarely move from keyboard and mouse. Our prototype includes a leap motion gesture controller, an Xbox game controller, capacitive touch sensors, and a Stream Deck with a configurable set of buttons. Key to our project plan was the use of workshop sessions with real users. Seeing the product in use, particularly with users who'd never touched a gaming controller before, has helped define requirements for the MVP and given us a lot of pride in what we've created. The CAE Tech team is uniquely experienced to deliver cloud-based software solutions to the manufacturing industry due to our diverse backgrounds in a mix of engineering and software. Engaging the factory floor team with access to design data and rapid feedback reduces stoppages and rework, utilizes the latent knowledge from the workers, and creates a coherent team. For Babcock, these benefits are real and quantifiable. The MVP will see Cicadas used on the £1.25 billion Type 31 frigate program. With 5 ships to be constructed in rapid succession, it will be critical to react to assembly issues. The efficiency benefits of reducing the number of liaison engineers by an estimated factor of 4 alone will justify the solution. As the manufacturing team grows from 200 to 700, new personnel will benefit from the direct connection with engineering support and the reduction of off-ship visits that cost Babcock hundreds of hours per month. Most importantly, the risk of rework can be reduced, potentially protecting the time and budget for this fixed price program. We can see these same benefits for manufacturers across a range of industries, including construction and infrastructure. We're excited by the belief that Babcock has shown in this solution and the plan that we have for the next 22 weeks. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Peter. If you now wouldn't mind going off screen and muting, that'd be fantastic. Again, if you would like to hear more from CAE Tech, please fill out the poll, which is now shown on the screen. Okay, now I would like to invite Adamus from Volatile Technologies. There you are, Adamus. Okay, I'll pass over to you.
Hi everyone. Hi, I'm Adamus, co-founder and CEO of Volatile AI. So at Volatile, we're on a mission to digitize smell. But what does it really mean? So smell is actually molecules which are floating all around us, and digitizing them requires correctly detecting them and identifying. And that's exactly what we're doing. Our solution combines gas sensors with AI to screen for chemical composition. It greatly simplifies the current testing methods, which require lab equipment, which is very, very costly and requires trained technicians to run. It's also not so useful for production environments because it's not practical to kind of ship samples to a lab and wait for the result, and it just takes a lot of time. What I see that quality managers want is a solution there on the floor to screen right away. Today, we are running 3 paid technology tests, among them with GF, and that is for asphalt screening through the Made Smarter initiative. So what GF wants to know is which variant of asphalt is coming into their plant for their roofing shingles production line. This can impact the line configuration, whereas a wrong configuration can lead to delays and potentially waste. So in the prototype phase, in the first phase, what we've done, we built a dedicated instrument for GF to screen asphalt. We then received 4 chemical formulations of it. We then tested these, gathering over 1,500 data points of these formulations. This has been a great learning experience, and we picked out a lot of things to improve. And we're super excited about the next phase, the MVP phase. So for this, our proposition is to actually improve our system based on the learnings, to adopt steel and aluminum pieces and parts to ensure that there's minimal chemical contamination inside the instrument. And it's also to adopt some of the lab testing pieces which are still useful on the plant floor. And that would be the pre-tube or a chromatography column, which would allow us to better screen chemicals. And we're super excited about this. It's not an easy task to pick out asphalt and screen it chemically. It's a very kind of stable compound, but now we know what needs to be done to achieve that. And it's not only a GAF who could benefit from such a solution. In fact, our clients today, none of them are using lab testing in a routine way, and they're not even captured by this 9 billion gas chromatography market, which is the lab testing setup. It's a huge untapped market because chemical analysis today is super inaccessible. It's both costly, and as I was saying, it requires trained technicians to run it and takes a lot of time. Me and my co-founder Lucas started this company to make chemical analytics more accessible. Lucas has 10 years of experience building AI models, and he's also a published researcher in the field of digital smell and chemical sensing. I used to work as a strategy consultant. I also had 2 other startups. And our core advisor, Dr. Julian Gardner, has been in this field in chemical sensing since the 80s, and he has built and exited companies in the space. So thank you all. We're Volatile AI, and please vote for us to give us a chance to build a new era of chemical analysis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adamus. If you would like to, please unshare your video, that would be fantastic. If you'd like to know more about volatile technologies, please complete the poll now on your screen. While I invite Will from Zeta Motion to please unmute and share your video. Hi, Will. I'll pass it over to you.
Hello, and thanks, Justin. Here we go. Well, tools like AI and machine vision are rightly heralded as the next big thing in digital transformation. But at the same time, getting to their promised benefits can actually be quite difficult. In many cases, new personnel has to be hired. Often huge amounts of data samples are required, and automation challenges can be highly unique and difficult, all of which can render these tools prohibitively expensive and uneconomical. Zeta Motion strives to solve these pain points by making automated inspection straightforward and hassle-free. With an expert team with more than a decade of academic and practical experience in machine vision and AI, and with Dakota Systems as our partner, with more than 25 years in digital transformation, we bring neural capture to the Industry 4.0. This proprietary system runs on minimal data input, understands objects on a deep and semantic level, and is able to identify, track, and analyze objects at high speed and accuracy. In the past 3 months, we had the privilege to work with GAF to apply our system to their challenge to move from manual to automatic conformance testing and to help them improve their product quality, reduce downtime and material waste, and cut down on cost. We started out with one of GAF's flagship products, the Timberline HTC roof shingle. The quality control here requires detailed inspection of over 30 attributes, including 2 and 3D dimensions. At the moment, this is done manually by static inspection of the production line. GAF's challenge was not only to automate this process, but to also provide dynamic checking on the production line at high frequency. Taking up this challenge, we built a prototype on the basis of less than a dozen samples, which is able to assess all product attributes, works both statically and dynamically, features a comprehensive dashboard, and can easily be integrated with IoT and legacy systems. In its current form already, our POC allows GAF to assess attributes at sub-millimeter accuracy, reduce static assessment time by 99% from 15 minutes down to 10 seconds only, cut data error by 90%, sorry, and reduce material waste by 10%. Once fully implemented in the production line, this system will further allow real-time assessment and upstream QC, predictive and prescriptive process controls, real-time cause and effect analysis, and reduce the need for human-performed measurements by 80%. So while all of this is pretty good already, we can do better. Having proven the viability of our technology, our goal is to go from POC to MVP by building a surface inspection system that automates all steps. The core technology for this, neural capture, is already in place. What we are working on now is the API, dashboard, and system integration. Once fully developed, this system will make automated inspection easy as pie for any product or machine. No matter what industry you are in, simply input your existing data and watch our system deliver a ready-to-use inspection solution, which not only performs with speed and accuracy, but also easily ties into ecosystems like Teamcenter and BrainCube. So if this sounds good to you and maybe sounds like something you'd like to try, please give us a thumbs up in the poll and reach out for a pilot and try. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Will. Perfect. If you could now go off camera. As always, if you would like to know more about ZetaMotion, please select the top one there in the poll. Right, now on to Escalia. If I could now please invite Marin to share your screen and unmute. The floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Marin, and I'm co-founder and CEO of Accelerator, an Industry 4.0 company helping manufacturers improve their productivity and quality through adoption of new technologies. We essentially integrate technologies such as artificial intelligence onto production lines in order to increase productivity and reduce waste of energy and resources. This brings me to why we're all here. Sorry. The food industry do everything they can to ensure the safety of the food they produce, all the way from detailed raw food inspection, monitoring of the whole process, validated cooking, and robust hygiene processes. However, food manufacturing industry globally has a challenge in the ability to monitor fresh food items in a real-time manner. For example, current testing methods for bacteria are destructive, so we'll only ever cover a small random sample of the production. It can take several days before a result is available, meaning products can already be on sale before results are received. At Escalia, we're working with Sainsbury's to tackle that problem. We're attempting to use the latest technology in spectral imaging and AI, bringing it from laboratory to factory in order to inspect each critical ingredient in real time. If successful, this would allow food processors to remove any potentially unsuitable product before it leaves the factory. By improving this testing, customers can have more confidence in the food they buy, increasing their trust in their food producer, in turn increasing brand value. In retail, customer trust is everything. There's also the greater good, reduction of food waste. Instead of discarding entire batches of food when one item is found defective, only the item not safe for consuming can be discarded, saving literal tons of food on an annual scale. So far, in our proof of concept, we successfully implemented the proposed technology and managed to show it is possible to use it to detect not only bacterial spoilage, but also other food safety contaminants, bones, plastic, etc. This gives us a good foundation to expand beyond the research and go towards a more robust solution which can be implemented on-site in a factory. Solution developed in this program has potential not only to help Sainsbury's fish factories, but also any other food factory where exists an opportunity to further increase food safety and quality. We're excited to have had the opportunity to work on this worthwhile cause with the Digital Catapult and Sainsbury's, since quality and healthy food today is a challenge for us all, and also a staple for a happy life for everyone. The ultimate goal is to work hand in hand with food manufacturers to deliver the safest possible food to the market while reducing food waste and making sure our loved ones buy only the best food out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marin. If you could now please go off camera and mute, that would be fantastic. The poll's coming up now. If you'd like to hear more from Ascalia, please register your interest and we can facilitate that after the event. Okay, I can't quite believe it. We're now on to our last prototype of the afternoon. Could I now please invite Sarvesh from Singular Intelligence to please share your camera and unmute.
Thank you, Justin. Let me just share my slide. I hope the slides are visible now.
Yeah, perfect.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sarvesh, founder and CEO of Singular Intelligence. It's an Oxford University company focused on consumer goods and retail AI decision automation. The prototype that we did with Sainsbury is actually a large-scale global problem. $1 trillion is the economic cost of global food waste. Of course, it has revenue implications as well, primarily because suboptimal decisions are forced to be taken in the fresh food supply chain due to diverse, unconnected factors currently unable to be processed by existing technologies. There are also data limitations, short window of opportunity, which complicates the problem further. The decisions that they need to take during the supply chain process are very key and high impact. Things like which variety should I be growing? When should we drill? The appropriate factory processes that have an impact on quality and shelf life as well. And how to monitor early warnings in the store, in the retail supply part of the supply chain. Should this product stay on sale? Some of these key decisions taken in a subjective manner have a high impact on sales losses as well as food waste, which is the core reason of the problem. So we set out to build a real-time, always-on end-user product for use by supply chain, product technical managers, farm managers, this product would source data from different parts of the supply chain that impact food quality, like growing conditions, temperature, and all of that, and help them simulate scenarios of how it would look like at different stages in future, enabling them to take decisions. So you can predict and simulate by adding different factors. You can understand the key drivers and how they impact the food quality and shelf life. You could also then build scenarios, collaborate, and finally decide, leading to the most optimal decisions that data and your experience can help you to take. So in the prototype, we focused on feasibility of building this technology, the functionality that can help with the business outcomes and reliability. We are planning to take the prototype to the next stage for an MVP that will be an end user product ready for operational environment trials. We'll be adding end-to-end data to that, which will be linked. We'll be adding order optimization, something that I will talk to you about in a bit, helping you with dynamically adjustable shelf life in the entire process, eventually building the scale rollout of final product. The business impact comes in a number of ways. Dynamic adjustable shelf life with order replenishment is known in the research and experience of people to have given huge benefits in both increase in sales as well as food waste reduction. So we are looking at, and we did an estimation as well by using aggregate market research data, that sales could increase to the extent of 40% and food waste could come down to the extent of 50%, depending upon where we are, which part of the supply chain we are. So it's a dynamic shelf life product that will transform the value chain of retail as well as the supply chain. We ourselves have an interesting product on order optimization that can be integrated to the product eventually. Singular Intelligence is focused with the mission of building AI augmented decisions for commercial and social impact. We have an experienced team and we are totally aligned with the sustainability agenda in this prototype and the technology that we are building. We look forward to interact with you in future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarvesh. If you could now please mute and go off camera and stop sharing the screen, that would be fantastic. If you would like to know more about Singular Intelligence and the product that they've built for Sainsbury's, please fill out the poll that you see on your screen now. Okay, I can't believe it. That's the end of the prototyping presentations. I hope that you've enjoyed all 14 of them. I'd like to thank all of the representatives from the startups for the time and energy they've not only put into these presentations, but also for the first stage of the Made Smarter Technology Accelerator. But now it's time for me to hand over to Chris Courtney, who's the Challenge Director for Made Smarter Innovation at UKRI, to give us some closing remarks. Over to you, Chris.
Hey, Justin. I just want to say, many congratulations to all being part of the program. I'm slightly blown away having sat through some of that. I think Scott from GAF said we're learning every day, and I think that's a really good sort of motto generally. I think, certainly I learned a lot from seeing some of those presentations. And it's far exceeded what we expected. What we were looking for is the opportunity to bring together real technology, insights, and ideas, and we think we've seen that from the people who presented. But equally to introduce that to the challenges that have been faced by the manufacturers, and we heard all of that from the panel discussion as well. And some really, really interesting observations, I think, all the way through the panel. I think Martin from Northumbrian Water mentioned the importance of diversity of thought and bringing together different communities to really have ideas. I think that's a really important idea. I think Charles from Software AG or AG, as Jürgen would have it, the emphasis on SMEs and engaging with them. Tony from Verizon made some really interesting points about pace of change and how to prioritize within some of that. Sarah from Sainsbury's on customer focus and value. I think Scott and Jim both pointed out the potential to do much more to harness the data they do have and the importance of integrating that into business context, skills and integration systems and so on. Some really, really fascinating points all the way through that. So hopefully, that for all the people on the technology side, sort of hearing that, you'll kind of understand better what your sort of business colleagues are facing when you go and try and sort of pitch your solutions to them. But equally, anybody from the business side, will have seen some of the really brilliant ideas and capability people have. So, a really brilliant event to try and bring those things together. I think from our side, that's what we're trying to do with this whole program. So this Technology Accelerator program, other technology accelerators to follow, and the very much broader program is to bring together the strength of the industrial companies that we have, in which we have some tremendous world-leading companies, part of our universities and the research that underpins a lot of the work that we do. And the technology sector, as Justin and others mentioned, which is incredibly vibrant in the UK. And what we want to try and do is to kind of turn all of that to create a future manufacturing sector, which should look radically different to the one we've got today. I think the one thing I would say when I look across all of manufacturing is we don't really know what the future is going to look like in 10 or 15 years. If you look at the batch size of one or mass customization problem, I think with O'Neill's, that also applies in pharmaceuticals as we moved into much more advanced therapies, electrification, autonomy, future of transport, green transport, increasing complexity of the products that we sell. So aerospace, there are a couple of defense examples that sort of highlighted some of that. And you sort of think forward across all sectors and the disruption that people are facing and the opportunity that presents to create, bigger, stronger companies in new industries moving forward in the UK. And I think by bringing together the technology sectors in with the manufacturing and engineering companies, that's really how we try and, create the best possible opportunities for all of us, really. So it's a really, really important collaboration for us to try and bring these communities together. I think the innovation strand of it is hugely important. And I think if we get the innovations right, so I guess my message for the technology companies is hearing what the industry folks are saying, the challenges they're facing, get your innovations right to kind of really target their problems both for today and tomorrow. And we'll see adoption challenges being much, much easier because we're targeting that technology at really solving real world problems. I think one last point is just the interesting point. I think maybe it was Tony made about the intersection between digital and sustainability. I think we've just seen some really interesting examples around on food waste, and there'll be much, much more to come. So that it's just another challenge and/or opportunity for companies on both sides of this discussion, really, to look at how do we deliver all of that quality, cost delivery, and increasing complexity of products, still do it safely in the case of some of the critical industries, but also do that in a net zero way. Presents enormous challenges, but huge opportunities that I think digital technologies can play a really strong part of. So hopefully the participants in this so far, you're keen to progress, get through the MVP stage. The applications close tonight, judging starts tomorrow. We'll, in the next 2 weeks or so, we'll come back with the next stages on that. Hopefully we'll see some of you back for 21 weeks of more intense work to really take forward some of the ideas we've had presented. For those who aren't successful at this stage, we'll be looking through my program and others to provide more opportunities to take some of these ideas forward. So look out for some of those. And for those who kind of carry on with the program, we look forward to seeing you. I think it's the week of the 6th of December, Justin, if I'm right, for the final showcase.
Thank you very much, Chris. And you're right, it's the week of the 6th of December. Spot on. Okay, thank you very much, Chris. If you wouldn't mind my unsharing and unmuting, that'd be fantastic. Well, it just leaves me to thank everyone who's been part of this event today. So from Jeremy, Jürgen, Priya, all our panelists, of course, all the startup representatives and the team at Digital Catapult who pulled this together. I hope you found the last 2 hours interesting and engaging. And I hope there's a lot of food for thought for you to take forward and maybe look at your own businesses. As always, if you would like to know anything more about the programs we run at Digital Catapult, please do get in touch. But it just leaves me to say thank you very much and have a good evening.